Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Edge of Liberty. Join me right here on the SHR Media Network every Monday and Friday, 12 on the Pacific, 3 on the East Coast. On this show, we'll discuss news, politics, the government, how cranky we are about the government, and more. If you want to hear hard talk, good interviews, sarcasm, bad jokes, and oh God, that really is me in a nutshell. Either way, check me out right here on the Edge of Liberty every Monday and Friday, 12 Pacific, 3 on the East, on the SHR Media Network. December 20th, 2024. 5 days from Christmas. 11 days to the beginning of the new year. Well, 11 plus a few hours. Appreciate you joining us here. Going to get chat fired up here in the corner so everyone can yell at me. Always my favorite thing to do. I do want to talk about, I got a lot to talk about. I know I'm going to talk about the omnibus CR that was being pushed through. I'm going to talk about the Wall Street Journal report on Biden, what happened with Fanny Willis. But first, I got to start with this. It's just heartbreaking news out of Germany. There we go. This is out of Magdeburg, Germany, where a motor vehicle is driven through a crowd at a Christmas fair, Christmas festival. If you don't know how they do Christmas over there, how they do these Christmas festivals, you got to realize that they, does my sound all right? My sound okay? They have these big street festivals, and that's one of the ways that they, there we go. That's probably a little bit better. My apologies. And they had protests outside of a couple of them from Muslims who were mad that the events were allowed to go on. This happened a couple days ago, calling it racism because it's a Christmas festival and they don't believe in it. And then today, this is the aftermath as a vehicle drove through one of these Christmas festivals. 11 people killed, dozens injured, and this just happened in the last hour.
Первые перезвони машина. Через сколько лет не знаю, ватерас. Только первые перезвони.
Absolutely horrible. I know I know there are going to be so many people who have things to say about this, and I know what you have to say, and I know I absolutely know where a lot of people are going to go with this, and rightfully so. You're upset, you're outraged. You should be outraged. This shouldn't happen at any holiday festival for any religion anywhere. I'm going to play this video also from the incident. This is, I don't give a viewer discretion as advised warning very often, but this is security footage from the incident itself. And I feel compelled to share it, and I do that because it's just brutal. But it makes you wonder how anybody could attack a group of innocent people, no matter what your motivation, and have it be easy. This isn't pulling a trigger or pushing a button. Driving a motor vehicle, it's like when they say, you know, people who stab other people, it's like one of the most quote unquote intimate ways to attack somebody because it's just so brutal. But this is right up there. You're in that vehicle. You knew where you were going. You watched those people in front of you. It's just watch. Just horrific. Absolutely horrific. I don't know anything about the suspect. I don't know I'm first to admit, I don't know anything about the suspect. I don't know what the investigation going or which way it's going. This is all within the last hour, so it's just fresh. So we wish those victims a speedy recovery, and our hearts go out to the victims' families. It's just terrible. Getting back to what we originally said to talk about, which is, of course, the continuing resolution, the omnibus bill, the massive, huge 1,400-page bill that they tried to ram through at the last minute. So many people are mad at Elon Musk because he exposed the bill. The fact that 1,400 pages, lawmakers supposed to have 72 hours to review it. 1,400 pages. 72 hours. But they're mad at Elon Musk. And my favorite thing they're doing right now, remember that for the last year, we were told that Trump's this horrible dictator and it's all about power and control and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, last 24 hours, suddenly Trump is a puppet for Elon. That's their narrative that they're going now. Oh, and Republican hate children with cancers. That's the other way they're going right now. Oh, well, in that bill, there was a money for childhood cancer studies. Yeah, okay. That I think it was in October, a couple months ago, they passed that as a standalone bill and the Democrats shot it down. Why? And I'll tell you why. This isn't... If you're mad about the continuing resolution not being passed, you should be more mad at the fact that we haven't passed a budget in this country with appropriations as we were supposed to since 1997, I believe. 1997. We're supposed to pass the 12 appropriations bills. It's supposed to be a process. The budget is due by October 1st for the president to sign on. There was talks this summer that they were starting the appropriations process. Remember that? If we go, Sean, well, this is, Republicans are in charge. Yeah, they are. I'm pissed at them too. We were told it would be done the right way. We were told that they were not going to make this force to a CR. Mike Johnson and the others all said that. And now here we are, 11 hours and 52 minutes before the government shuts down, and we don't have a plan. Allegedly, leaks on the inside is that the Republicans agreed to raise the debt ceiling $1.5 trillion now with the promise of cutting $2.5 trillion later. By the way, how many politicians' promises are you even going to listen to or even semi-believe? This never should have been a thing. We were told it wasn't going to be a thing. We were told we weren't going to have to see this again. We were told it was going to be different. And here we are. 14 or 1,500 page book, one of the two. They chopped it down to what? 116 pages yesterday? And that didn't pass. And now they're talking about passing each section individually, which I am for, because each section should be taken individually. These omnibus bills are how this government overspends your tax dollars on a regular basis. A 40% raise for Congress was slipped in there. 40%. Do you think Congress has done anything to deserve a 40% friggin' raise? No. There's a reason herpes polls higher than Congress does. Congress is a mess, and they keep trying to do the same thing. This has happened so many times. The government's going to close. We need to pass a bill. Oh, by the way, we're also going on a holiday break or our summer break or another break next week. That way the media cycle can cycle this away and people aren't mad when we come back and have to answer questions. This is the plan. All of Congress. This isn't Democrat or Republican. This is the scam both sides have been pulling for a long time, and it needs to end. Because that's what they do. They use the leverage of a shutdown. Well, the poor government workers. Well, first of all, if you work for the government, you understand that this is a possibility. And I know it will disrupt their lives. I understand that. They also always leave out the convenient fact that mandatory assets in the federal government will continue to be funded. But you have to ask yourself why they do this. They do this because they get all their little pet projects in there. They do this because they can shove as much pork as possible into that CR. Nobody's going to have time to read it. Nobody's going to have time to review it. And by the time they do, if you wanted to pull something out and restart the whole process, they're going to call you this horrible human being. Look, the 1,500 page was garbage. This is the problem. This is why nobody likes or appreciates Congress. Congress and the FBI have done nothing but hurt themselves. And I say the FBI because it's another institution that the American people look down poorly at. They do this to themselves. They leverage, childhood cancer, which, by the way, I just looked it up. It was in March they could have passed the Gabriella Miller Kids First Research Act. But it was never brought. It wasn't brought in the Senate either. It's insane to me that they're going to sit here and start poking at each other or blaming each other when they're all responsible. You know, it's in the Constitution how we pass a budget. It's very well laid out. These continuing resolutions are supposed to be an emergency situation, not the status quo. But why don't they do it that way? Because if the American people had time to review all of the appropriation bills as it's supposed to be done, they'd be pissed at the amount of money that's being jammed down people's throats. And when it comes to the raise for Congress, look, I'll give you a cost of living raise, but you have to give something up. 40% for people that make $177,000. You have Dan Crenshaw out there, that little weasel. Yeah, I appreciate his service for the country, but he is a piece of shit. He's become a bully rhino. There's a video Jersey Joe posted the other day. There's a video of him yelling at some little girl or who is in a conversation. He's done nothing but go on and attack people on X and stuff like that. Because the American people are sick and tired of things like this. This is the returns calculated by estimated current stocks held in each member's portfolio and calculating the year-to-date returns. You look at the amount of returns on investments, stocks, the Congress people are suddenly the best stock traders in the world. This is why you don't get a raise. This is insider trading. I don't give a shit what anybody says. How many times have you seen a Congress member buy or sell stocks just before a vote happens or just before a major industry decision comes up or something's about to go? They have the inside track and they use it. You think Paul Pelosi's some stock genius? No. And it's not just Democrats. Republicans do it too. Crenshaw. Oh, I'm not rich. I blah, 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 blah. You make $177,000 a year. Pal, you're richer than most Americans. And let's not talk about the amount of money that you all get from lobbyists. OpenSecrets.org, if anyone wants to go look it up. You don't get a raise for being useless. Congress is useless right now. What other job could you vote yourself a raise and then hide it in a 1,400-page contract from your bosses, which we are, and then try to get the CEO to sign off on it? 40% raise. They didn't even oh, we'll do 15% this year and 15% next year. No, because people will forget about it. No, 40%. Imagine the audacity of this Congress to try to get 40% for themselves. Does anybody out there think they earn it? Does anybody out there think they're worth it? Yeah, their raises, Jersey Joe just said in the X chat, the raises should be equal to Social Security raises. Joe, I agree. I said, I'll give them cost of living, but you have to give up stock ownership by the congressperson and their family. Inability to, well, you can own it, but you have to freeze. No more trades while you're in office. I'm not saying you have to sell your whole portfolio. And get rid of lobbyist money. Because that 177, I think it's 177, whatever their salary. Oh, by the way, they also get retirement for life. They're trying to opt out of Obamacare because Obamacare is a disaster. That was also in the bill. Congress can opt out of Obamacare. You and I can't. Believe me, Obamacare has destroyed healthcare in this country. I had a procedure done on my hip back in July. I had good health insurance, comparatively speaking, that I paid a lot of money for. And because of deductibles and all the other BS, it cost me $7,000 out of pocket. $7,000. And it wasn't like I was going in to get my stomach stapled or my nose. It wasn't rhinoplasty. It wasn't an optional surgery. It was a mandatory surgery. I was injured. I'm looking at 2 more and I'm sick to think of what I'm going to have to pay. They're trying to opt out of that. Rules for thee, not for me. But they want to blame Elon Musk because he brought all of this information to people's attention. They're not mad at Musk for being involved. They're mad because he exposed them for the frauds that they are. And they are frauds. All of Congress right now. And I'm sorry, both sides of the aisle, unless you are standing with the American people voting against this ridiculous thing, sorry, you're not my friend. You are not my friend. You do not represent me. You do not represent this country. You represent you. And that's what people are pissed about right now. This is why they voted for Trump. The status quo has to go away. 1997 was the last budget that was passed with appropriations. Everything else has been an omnibus and continuing resolution because there's no accountability through that. It's in the Constitution. They don't abide by it. And people will keep voting them in and voting them in and voting them in. I'm pissed at both sides. Mike Johnson, I look. Yeah, we can all get rid of him. I understand that. I know there's like talks about having Vivek actually be the speaker, and Elon, but Elon's going to be busy. But the reality of the fact is, something has to change. The American people need to stay pissed off. Government is not your friend. That doesn't mean government can't do good things, but government is not your friend. There should have been good faith votes on stuff like the money for North Carolina. Hey, we'll do this individually in a good faith vote. Boom, let's get that through, get that money done. We won't worry about it. They couldn't do it because the party is bigger than the country. They care more about their party. Both sides. Both sides. So unless you're against all that BS as a politician, you're vocal. People like Massey, who said, hey, this should all be separately. I'm with you. This should all be done separately. I take a break. We come back. We're going to continue on my tirade about Congress.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Welcome back to the Edge of Liberty right here on the SHR Media Network with our good friends over at KLRN Radio. Make sure you check those folks out. There's some Christmas shows come up. It should be a lot of fun. And of course, as I said earlier, you know, one of the things that Congress loves to do on both sides is they love when they get caught doing something they're not supposed to, playing the emotional card. I mentioned it earlier with the childhood cancer bill, and here's Hakeem Jeffries just proving me right.
Republicans are marching America to a painful government shutdown that will crash the economy and hurt working class Americans because they would rather enact massive tax cuts for their billionaire donors than fund cancer research for children. Republicans are marching America to a painful government shutdown.
It blows my mind that anyone in this country can even act like this is like they give a shit, right? They absolutely knew this was coming. They knew for months this was coming. And they're sitting there acting, oh, this is going to disrupt this. This is going to disrupt that. Why didn't your asses get on this sooner? Well, Hakeem Jeffries isn't in charge. Okay, but he could have been in the bully pulpit in front of the press, in front of everybody, saying, hey, this is happening. We need to get out in front of this. We need to fix this. We need a budget. But they weren't, because this is their plan. I will go back to this. I will die on this hill. Their entire plan is to continue ruling via these resolutions, omnibus bills, whatever you want to call them, continuing resolutions, They don't want to pass a budget because they figured it out. And now that's all changing. Like I said, Elon bringing attention to the fact that it was a 1,500-page bill they had 72 hours to read. I don't know what Facebook user doesn't show me. That was pretty funny. Temu Obama needs to just sit down. But he exposed it, and they're all mad at him. They're trying to drive a wedge between him and Trump. Oh, President Musk, President-elect Musk, President-elect Musk. And it kills me when you have people, where is it? Where is it? Here it is. This is the person claiming to be the voice of reason. Well, not the only person, but this is somebody who thinks they're so in the right. They're the voice of reason. I'm sorry, you have to see this.
Read on a bill. And you know what? They got scared because President Musk told them, President Musk said, don't do it. Don't do it. Shut the government down. Imagine. What does he know about what people go through is when the government shuts down?
First and foremost, Connecticut, why? Why? And do you remember the video? And I was trying to look for it. I couldn't find it. Of the woman in Portland, Oregon, who got pulled off the plane because she sat next to somebody who had a Trump hat on or a Trump shirt on and went absolutely nuts and then got herself kicked off the plane. You remember that? Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm reading between two chats and trying to put it together, and now that was Big E over on Facebook that made the Temu Obama comment. But that's who Rosa reminds me of. She's absolutely batshit. I don't care what anyone says. She is batshit crazy. But that's like I just don't understand their angle. President Musk, you're trying to drive a wedge between them. Everybody knows what you're doing. But I'll tell you something. And I think I see it now more than I've seen it in a long time. Congress is scared. Congress is really scared because now, especially with X being bigger for news than anywhere else, and you or I are the media, they have no way to control the narrative anymore. That's what this freak out is about. They lost the narrative. And it's scaring the piss out of them. And I'm looking for... here it is. Good old potato head.
He's also
You think they're not scared, including media? Watch this.
sometimes relying on random anonymous accounts, these websites, these users on X who are trying to present themselves as the new CNN, the new New York Times, but have no research behind them, no backing, no institutional knowledge. And I understand that for Musk, that's really appealing. It's exciting on his platform, but he ends up misleading a lot of people. It is striking how he does seem to be learning.
How many media entities in the last, 5 years have been sued for lying and defamation and lost? We just had ABC. It just happened to them. The people who Potato Head here is trying to say have all the ability and knowledge and institutional learning and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they're the ones that people hate. Media, Democrats, and some Republicans. You did this to yourself. People were sick and tired of being lied to. And how do we know we're being lied to. Well, the Wall Street Journal reported a scathing report, interviewed 50 White House employees who all but admitted what we all knew. Joe Biden has been in cognitive decline since day one, and they did everything they could to run interference on the American people, and the media was complicit. The media was complicit. We know the media.
I should have pushed.
Because, well, how many times did they push back against it? All of those pundits and talking heads on CNN, MSNBC, and other places, all the written rags. He's fine. He's sharper than he ever has been, that liar, Karine Jean-Pierre. He's the sharpest guy in the room. And we all were sitting there knowing what we knew. We were told not to trust your lying eyes. They told you repeatedly what you were seeing was not what you were seeing. Trust the media. Trust the experts. And then you have idiots like Chris Saliza, I forget how to say his last name, who used to work at CNN, who's now trying to get on the right side of history with stuff like this.
As a reporter, I have a confession to make. I should have pushed harder earlier for more information about Joe Biden's mental and physical well-being and any signs of decline. So let me explain. Joe Biden was president from 2020 to 2024. I worked at CNN through 2022. During that time, the early part when I was at CNN, 2020 to 2022, Republicans would regularly ping me and say, why don't you ask more questions to Joe Biden and how he's doing? He's 76, 77, 78-year-old man. And I would sort of brush them off because what I would say is, well, there's no obvious evidence.
Wrong. Lies, wrong, lies, wrong. We all knew there was obvious evidence. It's why they hid him during the campaign. It's why he ran a basement campaign. There was no way everybody with half a brain didn't realize that Joe Biden didn't have half a brain. There's no way. But they lied to you, to your face, and now they're claiming ignorance. So you're just a terrible reporter is what he's saying. He's a terrible reporter. He shouldn't be trusted. Or he's a liar. Which one is it? It's incompetence or it's ignorance. It's worse than ignorance. It's conspiracy. You were all working together to cover up the fact that he was in cognitive decline. You were all working together to hide the fact that he had been in cognitive decline. Everybody who was anybody with half a brain cell was saying he was impaired. We all knew Joe Biden was pulling him around by the hand. We all knew he was being protected from the media. We all knew he was being protected from public appearances. It wasn't just the debate during this last election that exposed him. That was the one they couldn't hide. That's the difference. I'm going to let this moron continue.
That he's declining. Yeah, he moves a little slower. He talks a little slower, but there's no evidence that he's declining. And the White House and the people around Joe Biden were absolutely adamant that suggesting anything, asking the question about whether he was in some physical, mental, or both decline was offensive. How could you?
No. It wasn't just the White House. It was almost all of mainstream media, the White House, all the political pundits, every former Democrat that they could possibly get out there to say it. Look, you remember after the debate, Tim Walz led a group of other Democrats to go to the White House and meet with Joe Biden after the debate months ago. And they came out and they had a press conference out in front and he's sharp. He's on it. He knows what he is. He's still the sharpest guy in the room. It's the Joe Biden of old, blah, 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 blah. He just makes gaffes. He just stammers. He's got a stutter. He's got a stiff gait. He's got more excuses as to why he couldn't operate as a functioning human being than anybody on this planet. And they protected him. This is a conspiracy, folks. This was a conspiracy. This is a conspiracy. It is a shame that this happened.
It's age shaming. And I think that impacted me at some level because while I did ask the question from time to time of, not directly the White House, but aides and.
Hold on. He brought it up. The age shaming. That bothered me. The age shaming. This is what they do, right? This is what cancel culture was all about. They pick a taboo. You're not allowed to talk about it. And if they talk about it, they're going to cancel you. It is literally the monster that they made.
And people around in that orbit, I didn't really push on it, if I'm being honest. Now, once I left CNN and once it became a little bit more clear to me about Biden's age, I think I did write pretty regularly and talk pretty regularly about how I wasn't sure that this guy was up to it. And then obviously after the June 27th debate, everybody, including me, was writing and talking about it.
I'll tell you right now, he's the first of many who are going to try to save their own skin by releasing statements like this. I just didn't know. I just didn't know. Oh, they shamed me into not knowing. Look, if you are supposed to hold the government accountable, if you're part of journalism, if you are part of media, and your job is to go in and ask questions, the hard questions, and I'll give credit to Peter Doocy and a few others, they regularly ask this question, and they were shot down by the White House and KJP. But if you're afraid to ask those questions because they're shaming you, get the fuck out of media. Pardon my expression. I know it's in the afternoon. Get out. It's your job to ask the hard questions. It is your job to push further. One of the quotes in the Wall Street Journal statements was, how the White House functioned with a diminished Biden in charge discloses one bombshell revelation after another. As revealed by the insiders who finally stepped forward, confirmed what conspiracy theorists have been desperately trying to tell the American people for years. The White House functioned with a diminished Biden in charge. We were saying the government was being run by a cabal of people. It was not being run by Biden. We were saying he wasn't in charge. We were told to take off our tinfoil hats. It is un-American to suggest such a thing. But 50 people interviewed at the White House finally admitted it. They scrapped national security meetings when he was having a quote-unquote bad day. He also reportedly could not repeat lines his staff fed him while preparing for the interview with special counsel Robert Hur. Why do you think that interview was never released? We knew this. We know this. If you think government is your friend, it is not. They will lie, they will cheat, and they will steal and do everything they can to retain power. That's how they operate. We all knew it. We all knew it. It makes me insane. And what makes me more insane is we knew it so much that this isn't even a bombshell. This isn't even a shock, this story. This whole country should be going insane over this, that other people were running our country because we had a diminished president and unelected people. We should be protesting in the streets right now. Legitimately. But because we all knew it, we're really not shocked by it, so there's no outrage. That's scary. Our government has gotten us to the point, and yes, I'm up against a break. Our government has gotten us to a point where they've lied to us so much that even when it's obvious, we're just like, yeah, just another Tuesday. We need to change how we view government and hold them all accountable. We'll be back right after.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Chucky. I'm so angry. I am so angry. I'm not angry because they got caught lying, just like they always do. I'm angry because they won't change course. They'll continue the lies. They're trying to blame Elon Musk for this. They're trying to blame people like you and I for this. For being mad. How dare we be mad that a 1,547-page bill wasn't just allowed to be crammed through at the last minute? Shut it down. Chuck Schumer said just a couple hours ago, it's time to go back to the original bill. No, it's not. Get rid of it. It's garbage. I just don't even know what to say to these people anymore. And on top of all of this, Biden just announced another $1.2 billion for Ukraine. Do you think they care about you? I've said this before and I'll say it again. Barring a select few politicians, they look at you like a drone. Your job is to go to work, pay the taxes, so they can throw money around left and right and not give a damn about you and do nothing for you. It's like the Matrix, where everyone's just plugged into those machines so they could get their energy to run the Matrix. It's exactly what's going on right now. Government's unaccountable. Unaccountable. It should infuriate you. These stories coming out at the same time. The CR, huge. Biden, the people finally admitting what we've all saying about Biden, huge. But CNN is going to say, oh, well, you should trust the media and Stelter. These people, they're anonymous, blah, 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 blah. Well, they might be anonymous, but we were all right about it. Yeah, you know what? I didn't go to school for journalism. I don't need to when something's obvious. It's this idea, once again, that if you have a college degree, you're somehow better at something than somebody else. Look, barring a few disciplines, jobs, careers, professions, whatever you want to call them, you don't need a college degree to report on something. And if your report is BS, then it's BS and you get jammed up, just like almost all of mainstream media has with lawsuits. And this is what they're mad about. They're mad because they've been exposed. Asheville is still a mess, and we're sending more money to Ukraine. Think about that. They couldn't pass a standalone bill for the hurricane relief to Asheville this time around, but we're sending money to Ukraine. And speaking of money, I'll get to Fanny Willis. There's not a lot to it. She was disqualified. The appeals court disqualified her from the Trump case. As we all kind of knew it would happen. And the case is going to fall apart completely because it was a BS case and we know it. I bet you Jenna Ellis is pissed right now that she pled guilty when she shouldn't have. This case is it's falling apart. Just like every other case. It's all BS and we knew it was BS. And I'll tell you something right now. They've already started on some level and they're going to keep going. They're going to start talking about Trump's cognitive abilities. That's going to be their next big thing for the next 4 years. Just get ready for it. But I mentioned money earlier. They were selling everything that was the Biden administration. And it's not him. We know it wasn't him. So I want to know who it was, who made this decision to sell all the wall components that were stacked up across the southern border from when Trump had them bought and started putting it in that they stopped and then added a few more sections. Everyone forgets about that. Walls didn't work unless Biden put it up. Again, not Biden. It wasn't his decision. We get to say that now openly. And nobody can push back against you. But just before Trump was coming into office, they've had 4 years they were sitting on that crap. But this plan was, we're going to sell all of that scrap, all that steel for pennies on the dollar and all the components for pennies on a dollar. That way, Trump has to ask for more money to continue building the wall. That was the scam. That's what they were trying to do. They weren't selling that for any other reason than to make it harder for Trump to be able to build the wall when he comes back into office in January, a month. That was it. When I tell you government, especially Democrats, are all smoke and mirrors, that's why they were selling it. They were selling it so he had to go back in and ask for more money and they could use that as political fodder. Your tax dollars were about to be thrown away for them to gain political gain. That's what that was. They don't give a shit about your tax dollars. They throw it around, spend it, and waste it. Spending millions on things like smart toilets. That was a legit thing that the government paid for last year. Your tax dollars, yours and mine. Smart toilets. Why are we researching smart toilets? My toilet's dumb and it works. But they were going to give away your money, pennies on a dollar, for political gain. That's how little they think about you and your hard-earned money. That's how little they think about their responsibility with your money. They don't care. A couple hours ago, it was reported from Fox News that Trump had filed an amicus brief to immediately stop the Biden administration from auctioning off the border wall parts. And I know Texas came out and said that they were going to buy it anyhow and donate it back to the country, blah, 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 blah. But that was a scam. When I tell you it's all smoke and mirrors. The CR bill at the last minute. Biden's cognitive decline. Selling off stuff for political gain in the future. They are clowns in a circus that they run, that they forced you to buy a ticket for and sit in the audience and watch and not be able to do anything about it. It's treasonous, in my opinion, to spend taxpayers' money like that. All the amount of money that they're jamming into ridiculous, stupid places like smart toilets. By the way, and I kid you not, you can look it up. I don't have the clip in front of me, but I read it. I saw it. It was ripped out of one of the bills. That smart toilet was going to have the ability to track, I kid you not, anal imprints. This is what the government spends your money on. There's nothing wrong with our toilets. Stop spending money on stuff like that. Just stop. This government cannot stop spending your money. We give it away left and right, and then we borrow on it. I've said before, and I say it again, money's not real anymore. When we got off the gold standard, I blame Nixon. And money became a theory at that point, which was the whole plan the whole time. So the Fed could manipulate it however much they wanted to. Because there's nothing grounding us. Look, the debt ceiling doesn't ground us. It gets raised left and right. They're talking about it today, $1.5 trillion to raise the debt ceiling again. Because we blow money left and right. Because it's not real. I'll tell you something, folks. This is the most basic theory of how our financial system works right now. Our dollar only works because we believe that it works, right? There's no standard to it. There's no baseline. There's nothing supporting it other than people will eventually pay their taxes. That's it. If we all agreed tomorrow, the entire country stood up and said, we're not using our money anymore. We're going to use pots and pans like crypto. I'm not against crypto, but it's kind of the same thing. Very simplified. I know there's a lot of ins and outs. Don't come at me. But if we all agree to use pots and pans for currency, then pots and pans become currency. Why do you think they get so mad when other countries stop using the dollar? Because now we can't manipulate their budgets. We can't manipulate the dollar. It should not be able to be manipulated. It should be based on how much money we actually hold, how much property, how much value, whatever we hold as a nation. That's what we can spend. And if that means that this country has to live through some hard times of cuts and cutbacks and changing of things, then so be it. We're on the precipice of a change. I truly believe that. I truly believe that the people in this country have absolutely fed up. Look, that's why Trump got elected. We're fed up. And I really think that we'll actually start, if people stay this angry, people stay this focused and involved, part of the reason that they weren't is because people get tired of politics. I get it. But if you're not involved in politics, politics is still involved in you. That's a reality, like it or not. And yeah, if you make $350,000 a year and you have a bunch of money and maybe you can live somewhere where you're less impacted to a point. But if you're middle class down, it impacts you every day. Every day. And if you are okay with government spending out of control and government controlling your life every way that they possibly can, and Big Daddy government just spanking you as hard as it possibly can, you're a socialist. If you don't believe in accountability, both sides. Like I said, I went after Republicans today too, because they should have started this crap back in June. Like they said they were going to. No, like I said, barring a handful of members of Congress, they're all useless. All of them. It should make you so furious. It makes me furious. You have 5 minutes left. I do want to tell you that I will be on Monday. Yeah, I'll be on Monday. I'm going to try to do something fun. I'm going to try to do a Christmas show. I just something a little bit different. Speaking of cocktails, and I say that because I always speak of cocktails. I didn't say anyone in the audience spoke of cocktails, but look, I'm going to give you a really quick cranberry margarita. Ready? Simple syrup, Cointreau, lime juice, cranberry juice, tequila, and mint. You can use, I would say, use a Blanco for this. I haven't made, but I have all the stuff to make this one, and I might be working on this here later on tonight. Long and short, 6 ounces of tequila, 6 ounces of cranberry juice, 3 ounces of lime juice, mint leaves, 1.5 ounces of simple syrup. You can salt the rim and cranberry if you want. Shake that bugger up. You can pour it with the ice and enjoy. It sounds great. I want to try it, but I got yelled at the other day for, once again, only doing bourbon drinks when I do my drink of the week. So I decided a little tequila because, why not? Mistletoe margarita, it's pretty good. Look, folks, in 11 hours and 4 minutes, the government's going to shut down. I'm okay with it until we actually get some sort of real spending bill done. And I'll tell you right now, if I was the Republicans, I wouldn't give anything more than 30 days. After the inauguration, new Congress comes in, let them set the budget for the rest of the year. Plain and simple. Stopgap it. You created this mess, but we're here now. Like we're here now. I think that was Earl in the chat room that said bourbon is better than tequila, and my Lord, if it is, how the times have changed. Folks, that's going to be it for me. Monday, we'll see what happens, whether or not the government's open, the government's closed. Christmas is coming up. 5 days. Can you believe that? 5 days. I hope you got all your shopping done. I got some wrapping to do. I actually have to put up a Christmas tree too. I haven't put up a Christmas tree yet. This hasn't been the most festive holiday season for me. Not going to lie. Said that last week on the show. I'm having a hard time getting there. So I'm going to force it today. I'm going to get out all the Christmas stuff, put it out. Kiddo will be here this afternoon so we can, hopefully she can help me. I hope you have a great weekend. I just hope this insanity ends. It's just government needs to go back to being government and working for the people and not working for themselves. I'm so disheartened right now with this country. I'm glad don't get me wrong, I'm glad with the last election, but the amount of BS that happens in this country that needs to be continuously exposed and stopped is so tall, it could fertilize, I don't know, the state of Montana. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great Friday night. Have your cocktail. You earned it. You busted your ass to get through the week, and here you are on the cusp of the weekend. I know for most people, this will be their last day of work. Most, not all. There's some people that can't pull that off, unfortunately. This will be your last day of work before the new year. In case I do not talk to you, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a Happy New Year. Please check us out right here on shrmedia.com. Jersey Joe's coming up tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 on the coast. I believe. Yes, I just verified. I asked a question. I read the answer a while ago, and then I just verified. So check out Joe. He'll be on his X, my X, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and everywhere else. Rumble, and everywhere else you can find SHR Media. Also, if you're looking for a quick getaway, escapist.travel. Escapist.travel. It's a travel agency you can use. They're a sponsor of the show now. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. We'll see you Monday.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Edge of Liberty. Join me right here on the SHR Media Network every Monday and Friday, 12 on the Pacific, 3 on the East Coast. On this show, we'll discuss news, politics, the government, how cranky we are about the government, and more. If you want to hear hard talk, good interviews, sarcasm, bad jokes, And oh God, that really is me in a nutshell. Either way, check me out right here on the Edge of Liberty every Monday and Friday, 12 Pacific, 3 on the East, on the SHR Media Network.
Conservative media done right.